It is going. Hi, good morning, everyone. Hope you are doing well. Excited to have you joining us for a mid-year marketing update. We'll have several of our staff members giving you what has happened since the conference, as well as a look forward leading up to our conference in Greenville this upcoming March. So with that, I will throw it over to Whit Tuttle to give us an overview to start with. Take it away, Whit.
All right. Thanks, Guy. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. It's been a great year so far. We're going to talk about a lot of the successes we've had with the program, where we are with the advertising campaign, what's going on with co-op. We'll, of course, lead it off with research. This is the year of research, so we'll do that. We'll talk about the international programs. Great to see the international traveler coming back. We'll talk about the challenges we've had with film and really everything we're doing. So there'll be an opportunity for you guys to ask questions later. We'll have the whole staff here. But I wanted to kick it off and start it with a couple of things from the administrative level. So, we'll talk about a lot of the great things we've done. And can't figure out how to get it to go. I don't have that. Well, here we go. I think I got it now. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. So we'll talk about what's going on with our staff and our budget. And it really has become a challenge. As many of you know, we received $10 million a year additional funding for COVID-related marketing. That's very specific funds. Unfortunately, just about every other tourism office in the country received additional funds, many of them receiving even more funds to be able to do more things. So we are still budget challenged. You see us, we're way over there on the right in the red. The bar chart shows our budget. You can see competitors like Virginia and Tennessee have twice or three times the budget we have, even right now. And remember, these funds we've received are only temporary. We also have one of the smallest tourism staffs. The other side of this chart, the dots show the staff sizes for tourism offices. And we really can't add anybody if we don't get permanent funding, because you can't hire somebody based on temporary funding and hope to keep them. So that's two real challenges we've had. And I want to show that this isn't just a sort of a thing that's happening once. This is really a look at 20 years of our budget. And you'll see the top line there. That's the actual budget we had. Now 2001, 2002, we had about a $10 million budget. We didn't have a website back then, so it was a little easier to do things. You look at that in inflation adjusted, that was about 16.7 million, what it would buy today. 2007, 2008, we were rolling $13 million budget, equates to about $19 million. Really, the only major difference between what we're doing then and now is we had wine and grape. We didn't have things like outdoor NC, but we had much more buying power. We moved to the EDPNC. We were about at 10 million. And that's the last budget before our budget was cut a little when we came in. We're now up to 11.4 million. That's our budget. Now, right now, we have those one-time funds that allow us to do a little more, but we've got basically a year and a half more of that funding, and then it goes away. So just kind of a heads up that I think we need to get it into our mindset of something we need to do to get us to propel forward. Because if we have to go back to that 11.4, we're going to have to cut a lot of the programs, not be able to do as much co-op, and not help out as much as we can. So didn't want to start on a downer note, but I think it is important to realize that we need to have some type of a funding establishment in the process. So we'll be talking about that over the next year or so. As I said, we still have those additional funds for the next year and a half. So just something to keep in mind as we move forward.
Great. Thank you, Whit. Appreciate that information. I did forget one housekeeping rule, but you guys probably all know this by now. We've been living in the Zoom world so much. Any questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A section, and we will definitely get those as we go along and at the end of the presentation. Now it is my pleasure to welcome up Marlise Taylor to give an update on things research related. Take it away, Marlise.
Thanks, Guy. Hey, everyone. Good to be here with you all. So a little bit about research. So some of you know and have heard, we developed what we're calling a visitor economy index during the recovery period. And what this is helping us do is better gauge the health of the entire industry. You know, for many years, we just used monthly lodging data, for a monthly look at how things were going. But this visitor economy index represents not just lodging, but mobile device data and credit card spending data, as well as the lodging data. So we really feel like that it gives us a better idea of the health of the tourism industry overall on a monthly basis. So you can see here the last 10 or so months of our visitor economy index. Now, when you see a positive number or a number over zero, that's positive, under zero is negative compared to the same month from last year. So as we settle into this post-recovery, we're seeing some slowing in that visitor economy index. That is not to raise any huge red flags, because remember, we're comparing ourselves to big recovery, but it's something to pay attention to. The August was pretty soft. But year to date, we're at about 3.3 or so through September. So still positive as compared to last year. So looking ahead to where we think things are going to end up in 2023, let's look at that commercial lodging, the hotels and motels first. Demand is expected to be up about 3% over last year. And assuming that forecast from STR stands, that would top 2019 demand by 3%. I really like to look at demand because that is actual room nights sold. So you don't need to worry as much about inflation, when you're looking at revenues. Looking ahead to 2024, which our quarterly forecast goes through, demand is expected to exceed this year's demand by about 2%. So a little softer, but still positive. And then let's look at vacation rentals. Now, we don't get quite as much of a look ahead with vacation rentals, but looking ahead to where we stand currently with Airbnb and VRBO. Now, note, this is not a forecast. This is where bookings are currently as of this week. I pulled this data on Tuesday. So this is what has been booked so far via these platforms. So bookings for the next several months are pacing ahead of the previous 2 years from the same time period. Current bookings are about 9% higher statewide than last year, and 33% higher than 2021 for this type of accommodation. What about those managed rentals? Those traditionally managed rentals, we're able to distinguish actually between paid guest and owner occupied nights. So you can see here in the solid lines for guest nights, we're pacing a little behind last year for the next couple of months. And again, this is similar to the other vacation rentals. This is what is booked currently for the next few months. So we're pacing just a little behind last year for those guest nights, and about the same in January and February. You can kind of see that dark green line kind of is covered by the yellow. However, when compared to 2 years ago, pacing is much more behind at this point in time. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, for the owner-occupied nights, those are in the dotted lines. Pacing is pretty much on par for the last 2 years, maybe down just very slightly, not significantly. Again, this is not a forecast, but where bookings are currently right now, so we know where we need to push, which months we need to push for. I wanted to let you know we still have some research co-ops available for this year, and invite you to participate if you're not already, including the Zydeco Visitor Insights Co-op. We have about 10 partners now on this, and this co-op is a monthly report, and you can see here it's priced by your economic distress tier level, 1, 2, or 3. And you're going to receive on a monthly basis insights such as visitation by origin market, visitor spending by category. This is just a small snapshot of about a 4-page report that you would get monthly. If you're interested, we do run this co-op in-house. So you can contact myself or Ashton English, and we'll be happy to give you a sample and set you up on this project. We also, not shown here, we have space left in the 2 arrivalist co-ops that we offered, and those are on an annual basis. So we can still sign you up now for the annual basis. The prices are about $19,000 per year, and there's 2 of those. One is the Horizon platform, which is location data, providing origin, length of stay, seasonality, and some in-market behavior. Arrivalist also offers their lodging platform, their LED platform, same pricing, about $19,000 a year. They do have a $5,000 setup fee for that, but those are still available at those prices through the end of June. So you're still able to sign up for a 12-month co-op at those prices. Please see our partners page and the co-op program to learn more about these 2. They're pretty detailed, but I invite you to do that. And we love to have any of you participate in those if you're not already. Finally, I want to just share with you some preliminary results from our ad effectiveness study that we do with Smari Insights. Our first wave of this 3-wave annual study was completed in July. The awareness goal that we had was 44%. So 44% awareness of our campaign within our target markets. We were exceeding that benchmark already only 3.5 months into the campaign at the time of this wave 1. So we're really excited about that. We expect that number to hold and for us to even achieve that, if not continue to exceed that benchmark by the campaign's end. So we are into field right now with wave 2 of the study, where we're studying our fall ads. Scott Peacock will be offering a little bit more information on the performance of the campaign from a media standpoint when he speaks. That is all I have for research, but as always, I'm available should you all have questions about research, and happy to help you with anything you may need.
Good stuff there, Marlise. Thank you so much. Always appreciate those insights into what's going on and how we can use that to better market both the state and with our partners. Next up, as Marlise mentioned, we've got Scott Peacock to talk about how some of that research is being used and our results on the consumer marketing side. Take it away, Scott.
Thanks, Guy. Yeah, everybody, wanted to kind of give you an update on our For Real campaign and how it's performing so far. So a couple top level results. Our paid media performance is doing extremely well. We've been really excited to see how well it's performed in market. It's been performing at or above most of our big KPIs and benchmarks for a paid media perspective, which also benefits you all from a co-op program perspective as well. So we're happy to see that if you take a look at some of the native results in particular, we're able to now start to track how many people book flights into the state as a result of seeing our ads. So these are some new metrics that we're adding into our repertoire from a measurement perspective as well. Our website, even with the turbulence of GA4 and switching everything over and Google, deciding to change its mind on things, we're still really excited to see how well the website is performing. We are up 243% to date on website impressions, which also helps you guys because we're obviously our big goal with the website is to drive downstream traffic to content about all of you on our site, as well as to your own individual websites as well. That last little metric there, you can kind of see that we're also excited that some of the new markets we've added into our media mix this year, the Midwest, and in particular Ohio, Pennsylvania, are performing our strongest. So that's great. That shows that our research that showed us that these were markets we needed to tap into is bearing fruit for us already. So that's great. Our organic social media team has been very busy this year. This map shows a smattering of the state and shows content that we've been able to capture and post on our social media channels across all 100 counties. As you can see, the coding, if you're darker, we've done a few more posts. If you're a lighter blue, we've done a few less posts. But our goal was to hit all 100 counties. And I'm proud to say that other than 4 counties left to accomplish in this last quarter of the year, we've been able to hit everybody with at least one post to cover you from an organic social perspective. Those that we're still looking out for that we've got plans to accomplish by the end of the year are Bertie, Greene, Alexander, and Northampton. So we're coming for you. Our custom content, this is another way for us to add value. So we work with publishers throughout the year to not only buy advertising, but to buy custom content. So articles on these publications, sites where we control the content and the narrative of it. And this has been a great value add for us throughout the year. And these are just a couple of examples of some of the ones that we've run this year. We did one with Travel Zoo, Travel and Leisure, and TripAdvisor. And as you can see, when you take into account the online content and oftentimes the social media posts that we get with these, it's a great way for us to help spread the love around the state and make sure that we're including everybody's message in our For Real campaign. So we're seeing super strong performance to date on these custom content, and we'll look to continue and probably grow that budget next year in our 24-25 media plan. Travel guide. We were just in Des Moines last week working through the travel guide for the year. We're excited to share with you guys how well this year's travel guide performed. We're able to do a lot of value add opportunities. So the content that's in the travel guide and the images that are used in the travel guide are also then put into Dotdash and mirrored to this database. And as a result of that, editors can look and pull content for stories that they might need. And in that vein, we've been able to provide an additional 8.2 million impressions this year. We've also decided to polybag the travel guide. So we always have an overrun every year of travel guides that we print more than we need. And this year we decided to start to take those and polybag them with some titles and some publications such as Midwest Living and Real Living. And then as a result of that, those go with those magazines when they're sent out to those readerships. And that's another way for us to kind of get in front of potential markets and new visitors. And that's been a great value add for us as well. So really strong performance from the travel guide this year. December, we'll be announcing the 2024 travel guide. So it's a great opportunity for that. And thanks to everyone that's been an advertiser in the travel guide. We've also seen record sales in advertising. So print is not dead. It's stronger than ever. And we're excited for the future of our travel guide. Co-op opportunities. I know that in Q4, this is always a good time of year to kind of take a look at budgets and see what you might have left through the year that you haven't spent. So if you're looking for a couple of options that might still be out there to help you spend some of those dollars, we've got a couple of opportunities here on this slide. Some digital opportunities that we put the prices in here as well, but we've got a dedicated e-blast through Outside Magazine that if you're an Outdoor NC Alliance member, you get a discount on. Our State Magazine, we've got an e-news custom content you can have with that, and Garden and Gun as well. And these are all going to be running, as you see, in spring. But it's a good time to lock those in and buy into those now if you're interested and if you have funds available. Also, the bridal guides still have one slot left for a quarter-page ad. That's been a really popular one for us. You guys asked us to get back into the wedding business, and we have, and we're seeing pretty strong results in that. Southern Living, we've got a quarter-page ad. Outside Magazine, we've got a quarter-page ad, and then Garden and Gun. So if you're looking to do some print advertising, several of these titles don't even sell quarter-page ads. So this is something that's only available through our co-op program and significantly less investment than buying a half or full-page ad, which is usually what they sell. And then on the display side, if you're doing display advertising, and if any of these options are of interest to you or your agencies, we co-op display advertising. So you can run your program through us and probably with one of these vendors that you might be working with already. And we've kind of bought the price down. So that's what Adherent is, and Travel Spike as well. AccuWeather, everybody understands what that one is. So there's a couple opportunities for some digital display advertising to get your message out there as well. And then we've got a new mini campaign that we're running to promote fall color and fall travel across the state, all three regions. This is a campaign that's going to have sort of two prongs to it. One is a physical activation in New York. And what you're seeing here is an example of an outdoor billboard that we've placed in New York. And the premise of this is to sort of look like a stencil that's placed over an actual building in New York City that is taking the color of that building and tying it back to North Carolina and encouraging and inspiring people in New York to visit North Carolina in the fall. These are up now. They're live all over the city. We're really proud of this campaign because these are going to be up for a limited time and then they'll be taken down, and others are actually biodegradable and will kind of dissolve as time goes on. So it's a cool opportunity to kind of rethink our outdoor advertising space and make it sustainable at the same time. And then the second part of it is, well, Rebecca, all of that is going to drive people through to our website. So if you go to visitnc.com/fall, that's where all the visitors are being directed to then learn more about traveling across the state in the fall. Second part of it is we've gone up and captured content of people in New York City interacting with the ads, and we are going to be taking those and turning them into advertisements that will run digitally in other markets for us, our other target markets. So places like Boston and Atlanta and DC, for example. So that's the second part of it, is New York gets a little in person and everybody else gets to see these ads and be encouraged to travel this fall. This campaign has already been in market for a couple of weeks now, and we're excited to kind of report back on the results of it. But this was an opportunity for us to promote fall color across the state, not just in the mountains region where obviously we're very well known for it. So we're excited to kind of do some dispersal tactics with this one. And then our public relations efforts, they have been extremely busy right now. One thing we wanted to make note of, if you haven't heard already, is that we've got a new agency partner. So we have signed up with and partnering with DCI beginning in July. They specialize in economic development, tourism, and talent attraction marketing. I know a lot of you out there are familiar with them. If you've been around the block a few times, we've worked with DCI before in the past, so we're excited to have them back as our new agency of record from a PR and strategic communications standpoint. So you'll be hearing a lot more from them. Some of you might have already gotten some surveys that they're working on to kind of get a lay of the land and understand how we can make our PR efforts even stronger for you moving forward. Media missions, we've successfully been able to execute 2 of them in the last couple months already. The DC media mission, some of the partners that were involved in that. Charleston mission, you can see the partners that are in that. And the one that's upcoming, that's in the throes of being planned right now, is our New York media mission, which will take place November 6th through 8th. So we're excited about the partners that are going to be attending those as well. We'll have an opening coming up here, probably the end of the year. We'll get an email out to you guys maybe in November if things work out well, with opportunities for our media missions for next year. So stay tuned for what we've got planned for 2024 and for an opportunity for you to express interest in attending our missions next year. And then coverage, as you know, our public relations efforts, span the globe as well. They work really closely with Heidi and their international team. So here's just a couple of examples of some of the coverage most recently that we've been proud of on the US side, in the UK, and then in Canada as well. And that's another reason that we partnered with DCI. They've got offices in Canada and have a really strong hold there in Canada. So for those that have always felt the Canadian market is important to them, that won't be lost with us. We're still pushing forward hard on a PR standpoint in Canada, working closely with Heidi and the team as well. One thing that we wanted to make you aware of is we are rounding up information right now on what's new in 2024. So if you have a new hotel opening, or a hotel that's going through renovations, if you've got noteworthy restaurants or cocktail spots, bars that are going to be opening in your destination in 2024, attractions, arts and cultural events of note, or an anniversary of any kind that is of noteworthiness, please take a look at this email address here. You've heard it before, but media@visitnc.com. If you could send us any details you have on any of these opportunities up above. We're rounding it all up now because this is a great time of year for us to start to pitch what's new and what are we excited for in 2024 to media. So the more you share with us, the more we can pass along to journalists that we're working with.
All right, as always, thank you, Scott. Lots of good information there, and looking forward to, especially on some of those media things, learning about what is coming up in 2024, because I know those pitches start early, as you're all aware. Next up, I'm happy to introduce Heidi Walters, who will give an update from the partner and industry relations team. Take it away, Heidi.
Thanks, Guy. Hello, everyone. I will be very quick since many of you probably heard me last month do a lot of this, but we do have a couple new things that I will touch on. So here we go. I thought we were going. There we go. All right. So a few updates from what we have done, what I gave you back in Asheville at our conference. We are wrapping up track after a decade plus of having track. We are going to change it. We're going to change it up. So Wilkesboro next week will be our final track. And then from there, we're going to have Destination Immersion, which is going to be a program where we take most of our team and come to your areas. And we see what you have, see what you want, and then we all sit down and have a meeting about it and see how we can help you achieve your goals. So stay tuned for that. And Kathy Prickett will be now heading that up. So if you're interested in having one of these destination immersions, please reach out to Kathy Prickett. The Atlanta Travel and Adventure Show does have some openings still. There's 2 spots left. So if you're interested in the Atlanta Travel and Adventure Show, please reach out to Andre Neighbors. All of our other shows are full at this point, the retire and the consumer shows, but there are spots for Atlanta. And then the North Carolina Civil Rights Trail. We just launched all 3 of the podcasts for that, which we're very excited about. They're great podcasts. And we also have some spots available for if you would like to be part of having a marker for a civil rights trail. And this will all get incorporated both into the North Carolina Civil Rights Trail and into the International Civil Rights Trail. So again, if you're interested in having a marker and you have a site that you'd like to promote, please reach out to Andre on that as well. Esports. Well, we talk about this a lot. So not a lot is new with esports, but just if you're just getting into the esports industry, we have been commissioned by the Department of Commerce to help implement and keep up with the marketing of this esports grant. At this time, we haven't had anyone who has completed the entire grant process, but we do have several that are out there and pending. And it's a great opportunity for you to be involved in this rapidly growing segment of the industry. And then Outdoor NC, we are really changing it up this year for Outdoor NC, and we hope that you will come along with us. We, as you probably have heard before, we've partnered with Tourism Impact Services, as well as an agency of record for Uproar Concept to be our creative team behind Outdoor. So we are splitting it up. It's going to be a stewardship program, a responsible travel program, and a sustainable tourism program. So I think by splitting these up, it's going to give everyone a much bigger footprint. And so the 3 programs that we're really going to concentrate on this fiscal year are the Make It Your Nature, which is the destination stewardship, accessible outdoors. So we want to know what you have that's accessible and what you want to make more accessible. So we can help you with that. And then finally, a trail town designation. And I don't want to be confused that this is not just outdoor trails. These are cultural trails, culinary trails, any kind of trail that you have. It doesn't have to be an outdoor trail, but we are going to include those as well. And if you want to know more about this, we are holding 5 learning labs across the state in November and December 1st. To talk, they're full day workshops. We're going to talk about this stuff. We're going to listen to what you all have. We're going to hear success stories as well as challenges, and try to work this program and build this program out so it's something that you can all get behind. And we do still have spots available. So if you are interested, you can reach out to me or Amanda on our team. We would love to see you either in Corolla, Surf City, Smithfield, Blowing Rock, or NOC later this year. And joining us will also be state parks, DNCR, some of the outdoor associations as well. So there should be a really good cross-section of folks coming. International market, we have touched on a little bit, but just we no longer have our 3 dedicated offices. Whit talked a lot about budget to begin with, and I will tell you that in the 18 years I've been doing this, my budget has only shrunk for international marketing, but not a lot, just a little bit. But there are so many other opportunities now that we have through Travel South and Brand USA that it was just diluting our dedicated offices. So we didn't have enough funds in those offices to really make a difference. So we're trying between the Travel South and the Brand USA to cover all those markets still. And that's not to say that we won't have projects with our former international offices. We left on very good terms and we hope to keep that up. So earlier this year in June, Whit and Vita and I did the media and sales mission to Australia, which was very beneficial. That is a great market for us because they love to be outdoors. And we have so many things that they really like about America. So that was a great trip. We also continued our second year in promoting the 2024 US Open that will be held in Pinehurst in the UK market. And it's not, we didn't just go to the Open Championships these 2 years. It was backed up with a lot of, we were in 2 golf publications several times. We've got a website, we've done social posts, online presence, and getting great reviews. So we were promoting not just Pinehurst, but we were promoting golf statewide on this program. And then we also, while we're in the UK, we worked with Travel South and 9 other states and featured North Carolina oysters at the Nat Geo Food Festival. We took Chef Ricky Moore with Saltbox out of Durham with us, and he was a great chef to have with us. And again, it wasn't just that activation. We had, don't tell the other 9 states, but we had the most viewed story in Nat Geo Traveler about our oysters. So we're very proud of that. That turned out to be a great campaign. And then we're also very excited about the comeback of international travel. I will show you sort of where our numbers stand, but all of our flights are back. And now the flights are growing, and we're very excited about that. So there's a new flight that will be flying from Frankfurt to RDU on Lufthansa 5 days a week, starting in early June. And then also on the RDU side, the Paris flight will now be serviced by Air France, which is going to be a great lift for those French people who are loyal to their national airline. Here's our international visitation for 2022. Obviously still a comeback year because we didn't have all the flights for most of the year. And it's about half of what we saw in 2019. And Marlise will give me a look if I'm wrong, but I believe we're about 1.4 or so in 2019. But not sure what happened in the Netherlands, but we will take all of those folks when they want to come over. But the other ones are coming back. And I think for 2023, we're going to see a much more normal numbers. And to that end, how are we going to help you? We are partnered with Tourism Exchange through Travel South to have a B2B digital platform for your partners, whether they be attractions or anyone who sells a ticket or a hotel room to a visitor can get in this program. And what I love about this program, because I've been beating my head against a wall for so long about receptives, this is sort of a receptive-ish program. What I love about it is that there's no cost to DMO partners, and the only cost to participate in this for your entities is a 3.5% commission at the time of booking. But also at the time of booking, the Tourism Exchange will pay your partners. So they don't have to wait until the stay has been completed. They will get paid at the time of booking, and it's a 3.5% commission. And it has been proven around the world already. Several countries are using it. Several other states are using it. But Visit NC and Brand USA has really paid to have us offer this to your partners. And it's easy to get started. You just go to tourismexchangeusa.com and poof, you can get signed up. I just completed speaking to the Wilmington Area Hotel Association about this, and there was great enthusiasm about it. And I am happy to come out to any of your destinations and talk to your partners about this program and about how to get signed up. So if you have any questions, I do have some one-pagers that I can send out if you want to send them out to your hotels or your attractions. But I think it's not just going to be for international. This is going to be able to book through for domestic people as well. So let me know if you want anything about that. And then finally, we are very excited about a redesign to NewsLink. So we're going to try to redesign this in 2024, early 2024 with the marketing team, but we really want your input. And so because we don't want to send you one more survey, we're going to ask you right now, if you have thoughts about NewsLink, what you like, what you don't like, what can we include that would be more beneficial to you? I can tell you right now, I have major issues with the graphs in there because they are always blurry and it makes me crazy. But if you're good with that, if that doesn't matter, then that's cool. If you like the calendar that we put on of upcoming events or whatever you want, either put it in the chat or send any of us a message, just saying that this is what you like or what you think could be better. And I believe that wraps it up for me. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to the very hip and cool North Carolina Film Commissioner, Guy Gaster.
With that, thank you so much, Heidi. Appreciate that introduction, and glad to, as always, to talk a little bit about film and how things are going. Unfortunately, we're having a down year, if you will. Our spending has been greatly impacted by the labor strikes and those discussions with the writers and the actors. The somewhat good news, we have advanced when it comes to settling those negotiations. The writers have come to an agreement with the studios. However, the actors, those who would be on the screen and who are really slowing it down, are still yet to come to an agreement with the studios. There are some workarounds, if you will, or interim agreements, but these are primarily for independent features. It's looking like we might have a couple of these to finish up the end of the year. And if the studios and actors can come to an agreement, there are some larger projects that are hoping to film possibly in November and December. So all said, unfortunately, it will be not the greatest of years when you look comparison-wise to others, which I'll show you in a moment. But it'll still, some of these things are out of our control and certainly out of the state's control. Two other things of note that I did want to share since the conference. We have had Dark Horse Studios announce that they will be doubling their size as they have broken ground on 2 purpose-built sound stages on their facility there in Wilmington. And also EUE Screen Gem Studios recently changed ownership. They are now part of a larger studio soundstage operation firm called CineSpace. And while we appreciate certainly everything that the family-owned business that was EUE Screen Gems and their setup, there are certainly some great opportunities with CineSpace taking over now and their name recognition within the industry and some of the things that they may do for the Wilmington facility. But by and large, it will continue to run much in the same way that it has previously and are ready to take clients in as those negotiations get settled. So I mentioned it being a down year. You can certainly see where we stack up in our previous years. And again, I do not think that we will be hitting our 100 million. And as a reminder, as we talked about at the conference, we really see North Carolina being between 275 to 300 million annually. So these labor strikes have certainly had an impact on us. All that said, here's what you're really looking forward to. When can you see the projects that have filmed in North Carolina? When are they coming out? So we have 3 that have dates coming up here. The first is an independent feature called The Other Zoe. We've got a little bit of the greater Charlotte area. You can see Davidson College. Appalachian Ski Mountain is featured on it. It will play in select theaters October 20th. It'll then be available on pay-per-view starting in November. And on January, it'll be available for those with Amazon's Prime Video service. November 17th, on the Peacock streaming platform. The comedy Please Don't Destroy the Treasure of Foggy Mountain will arise. This again was something that based in the greater Charlotte area, but you'll see South Mountain State Park on the screen, as well as areas throughout the Charlotte metro area. And then finally, a title that pretty much says it all. Don't need to really go into much on what it's about, but Hallmark and their countdown to Christmas in the prime spot of the Saturday of Thanksgiving weekend. We have a Biltmore Christmas. The Hallmark Channel partnered with Biltmore, and they have a film that is completely on location on the estate and through the house. And it also features one of the actresses from One Tree Hill. So this is certainly going to be a highlight of the holiday season. We hope you'll tune in and see a little bit of Biltmore and Christmas magic combining together. That might be a little bit of overload for a lot of us on that. So again, those are 3 projects upcoming. There's still plenty, since there's not as much new content out there. If you need to get caught up on Netflix with projects like Florida Man, as well as Echoes, we certainly have others throughout, and you can find a list of all the projects that have filmed in North Carolina on the Film NC website, filmnc.com, and just look at our production archives. And with that, I believe I'm going to welcome Whit back up, as well as the rest of our directors, and we'll prepare for questions as you get some of those questions in. And also we'll make note of the news link suggestions in the chat. Want to remind you, our next webinar is November 9th, taking a little bit of a different approach with this webinar and doing some professional development. But if you've ever been stuck in spreadsheet Hades, we'll say, since it's still early in the morning, this one might be for you. We're bringing in an Excel expert from North Carolina State, who's going to talk to us a little bit about how we can maybe use everyone's favorite Microsoft spreadsheet platform a little more effectively. And fingers crossed, we'll all walk away with 2 or 3 tricks that'll help make us Excel masters. So again, we hope you'll join us. You can go ahead and register now at our partner site, but that will be our next webinar is November 9th, focusing on how to up your Excel game.
All right. Thanks, Guy. Guy's going to pull the questions and moderate them for us. Just want to thank everybody for watching. We've got a lot of exciting things going on. As you've heard, the numbers look good. There are plenty of co-op opportunities out there. We're excited to see the return of international travel. I think tourism exchange really is going to be a game breaker for small attractions, for guides, anyone that charges somebody to do something. This is a system they can use to have access to receptive tour operators and tour operators all around the world. So really some exciting things going on. I think also, you know, it's been a down year for film, but as Guy will tell you, we retain that film incentive money, and Guy's team is ready to go as soon as the logjam breaks. They'll be out there getting those numbers right back up to where they should be.
Well, thanks for that vote of confidence there, Whit. So with that, no, we will definitely be ready. All right, moving to our questions. Our first one is for Marlise with research. It looked like that the visitor index report had a spike in January for this year. Any thoughts or idea as to why that might have been for 2023?
Yeah, so remember, it's compared to the previous same month. So if you saw a spike in January 23, that's because January 22 wasn't quite back yet. There was a strain of COVID, and I can't remember which one it was, Omicron or Delta, whatever it was, in January of 22. So travel was down. The health was a little lower, of the industry was down a little lower in 22. So that's why you would have seen a spike in 23.
And putting you on the spot here, Marlise, I'm piggybacking on this question. Have we seen in past years or Januaries, does the amount of snowfall impact that number as well?
January is probably the least traveled, the least traveled month of the year in North Carolina. I mean, I know we get a lot of visitors to the mountain area for skiing and winter sports, but if you look at it compared to the other 11 months, it is the slowest month historically. So I think that certain parts of the state would see really positive numbers if the snowfall was adequate and if there are good conditions. But being that it's really the slowest month statewide, I don't know how much of a statewide impact. Certainly in the high country, I think that there would be a positive impact with heavier snowfall.
Okay, great. Very good. Hope that takes care of that one for that individual. Next question is pertaining to organic social. So, Mr. Peacock, what are the best ways for partners to offer suggestions for inclusion with organic social?
Yeah, that's a great question. The easiest thing you can do is just email myself or Katie Bailey on my team and just let us know your idea, and we'll happily take that into account and work on it. We meet on a regular basis to kind of take a look at our organic social content for the year. So we pull from lots of resources, including the things you guys submit in the surveys that we do. We also go all the way back to the travel guide road shows. Those are also a great opportunity not only for content for the travel guide, but for all of our owned media and organic media channels. So I would definitely encourage whoever submitted this question, if they don't, to try to participate in those road shows every year, because we take all the feedback you give us there into account for all aspects, not just the travel guide. And then boots on the ground. Anytime we've got one of our team members in your area, let us know of something that maybe is going on that you would love to get highlighted or featured that maybe we didn't know about as well. But the easiest, 24/7 way to do it is just shoot us an email and let us know your idea, and we'll happily take it into account.
Okay. Speaking of travel guide, Scott, what is the final day for signing on to submit an ad for the 2024 travel guide? I believe you mentioned there was still some availability.
Yeah, I believe that we've got about another week at the most here. So if anyone is interested still in possibly getting an ad or would like to see what is still available, again, shoot me an email and I'll immediately connect you and we can see what opportunities are still out there. We've got a few ads left to sell in this current in this upcoming 2024 travel guide. So if you're interested or just want to know how much, shoot me an email and we'll get you those details this week yet.
Okay, great. We had another question and one of our staff members who's not on camera did help answer it. So Scott, I'm going to give the question, give the answer, and see if you have anything to add to it. The question was that a partner doesn't want to be excessive in tagging or mentioning Visit NC. And so if there was a preferred number of tags or a guideline for using tags in their own posts. And Katie Bailey certainly said with the Visit NC staff to reach out to her, and she would be happy to talk more about that. But is there is there a limit on the number of tags or hashtag Visit NC we would prefer to see thrown on to social posts?
Yeah, no, and Katie will be able to give some more individual advice, to that partner that reached out. But the high level answer is no. Feel free to always tag us. We are always monitoring that feed, looking at tags. That's a great way as well to kind of let us know of something going on, as well as just all the audience that's following, hashtag Visit NC, or looking at Visit NC as well. So never ever hesitate to tag us. No limit to only do it once or twice a year. If you've got something that you think is worthy, of reaching that visitor, statewide and out of state, then please by all means tag us. So
very good. Heidi, there was
one caveat, probably what Katie will be talking to the partner about is one thing to kind of remember is there's only really so many posts that we can do. It's with our cadence that we have of how often we post, and then factoring in the social media co-op buys. And so how many of those, so hypothetical example, we post 5 times a week. If 2 or 3 of those are purchased as a co-op program, that means that it only leaves us with maybe 2 posts that we truly can kind of control the content and decide what we want to focus on and highlight. So just kind of a little nuance to think about. It's a great reason why people are continuing to invest in our social media co-op program is because that's one way to guarantee you can get some attention and some content in our social media feed. But it's also on the downside means that there's a little bit less of the content that we can kind of fully control. So oftentimes that's a little bit of a confusion when people are just looking at it as a consumer and not knowing the nuances. So yeah.
Okay, very good. All helpful information. Heidi, there was a question on the upcoming workshops. Where is the best place to go to register for those? And also, what are there any things that a partner needs to bring or come prepared for that workshop?
Great. You should have received an email from Amanda, but if you did not, reach out to either Amanda or I, and we will send over registration link for you. There is no charge for this. We will be providing lunch and snacks and everything, and just come with great success stories, things that you would like to concentrate on. It's going to be very interactive, and it's going to be from 10 or 10:30 to 4:30 for a whole day. So
Just give the email.
And are those?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So either Heidi.Walters@visitnc.com or Amanda.Baker@visitnc.com.
And for clarification, are those webinars just for webinars? Sorry, are those workshops just for DMOs, or can their individual partners also attend?
They are specific for DMOs.
Okay.
These are specific for DMOs, and out of this will come a lot of more information that then we will pass down probably by January, that you will be able to pass on to your individual partners. And then we will follow it up at conference in March as well.
Very good. All right. I'm going to stall just for a minute here in case someone is typing one last minute pressing question as that's being typed.
I can help you. I can help you stall, Guy. One thing I was remiss in mentioning, for those that would like to see some of the creative for our For Real campaign, obviously for those that were at conference, you saw some of the early ads that we decided to run, but not getting served the ads and not seeing them, because you're a resident, oftentimes it's you want to know what's going on. So go to our YouTube page. And on there, you'll see all the most recent video commercials that we were able to run, our 15 and 30-second spots for the campaign. As new ones hit the market, we add them in, and any day now we'll be adding the winter creative, which will be kind of the completion of this year's. So you'll see all the ads that we've been running out of market in this year. So that's just something I forgot to mention. If you're kind of curious how the For Real campaign has evolved over the year, some of the feedback that we took into account coming out of the conference and some of the tweaks that we've made, you can see the latest and the greatest and the full spots there. So that's a good way for people to kind of see how the campaign is going, and let us know what you think. If you see something you like, let us know. And if you see something you don't like, let us know too. So just wanted to mention that. Sorry.
And Scott, not to confuse folks, but is that the consumer YouTube page or the partners YouTube page, which on the partners page, you can also find recordings of past webinars that you might have missed, or can let others know of how excellent a webinar was and they could go see themselves. Go ahead.
Yes, that is the consumer facing YouTube page, and I'll have Katie Bailey put it in the chat real quick so you guys can just have an easy, quick link to it. But it's youtube.com. Yeah, we've got a playlist created there for the For Real campaign. Once you get there, you'll see it. So
perfect. Well, I stole my own thunder. As a reminder, this webinar will be posted on the industry YouTube page, which can be accessed through partners.visitnc.com. With that, I want to thank everyone for joining us this morning. And again, we hope to see you on November 9th. Have a great day, everyone. Bye now.
who recorded us? Okay.
So if the crowd